Hello, everyone, and welcome to another Stately Office Hours. This is our 79th Office Hours. Can you believe it? We've nearly
Wow.
made it to 80 whole Office Hours. And that's because it's such a fun time. We love it when you all join us live. This is where us, the team at Stately, give you the updates on everything that is happening with Stately and with XState. So we'll start off, as we do every week, with intros from the team. So I'm Laura, and I do education advocacy for Stately. David
I'm David, founder of Stately, creator of XState.
and Nick
And I'm Nick, and I work on product design at Stately.
and Anders.
And I'm Anders. I'm part of the engineering team here at Stately.
And we wave hello to the rest of the team who are having a chilled out Friday morning, afternoon. I guess it depends where in the world that they are. So we have a huge amount to talk to you about today, but just a reminder that if you have any questions that you want to ask us while you have the opportunity, we are here. We are willing to answer the questions that you have about Stately and about XState. You can actually post live if you are on YouTube, on Twitch, on LinkedIn, and now if you're on Twitter/X, so you can ask your questions there and we will be able to bring them up in here. For example, Josh Goldberg, our old friend, says, "What is XState?" So, hey, David, do you want to answer that one?
Yeah, sure. So XState is a way of managing complex application logic using the actor model, state machines, and state charts. So it is a state orchestrator, which is like a state manager, but more.
And thanks for that, Josh. It's a good reminder that it's always good to go back to the basics and explain why we're here. So if you do have any questions, just let us know and we can show them, just like we did with Josh's question there. Now, you might have been watching us in recent weeks and found out about GitHub Sync and about sources. We've also recently spoken about the Stately Inspector, and we'll mention a little bit more about that later today. But we've got something else new and exciting to share with you all today. David, what is Stately Agent?
Yeah, so Stately Agents is a little side project that we've been working on for a while. And really, it's an application of XState, but also eventually the Stately Studio too. We just need to get the inspector to actually inspect things via WebSockets, which is probably coming soon. So I'm just going to go ahead and share my screen and show you a little bit how it works. And really, this is in alpha, so I really want to get your feedback on this, but it is public. It is open source, completely open source, so MIT licensed and everything, so you could use it as you want. But the goal of Stately Agent is to make it easy to create state machine-powered LLM agents. So if just as a reminder, an agent, at least the way that I interpret it, an agent is something that does a sequence of steps to achieve a certain goal. So it is specialized in trying to get from point A to point B. And so that point B could be whatever you want. So when we talk about like typical like LLM applications, it's typically, all right, you give it an input and then you expect an output. For example, summarize this essay for me, and then it'll eventually come out with the summary. However, as applications progress more and more and they get more advanced, we need these LLM applications to do even more things. And so this starts to resemble, you guessed it, a state machine. So I'm just going to show you how this works a little bit with an example. Is my font size okay, or should I bump it up a little?
A big bump up a touch.
All right, let's bump it up a tiny bit. We're going to put this
For
to
the
20.
mobile
20,
devices in the back.
Yeah, exactly. And so, yeah, we have had a lot of people just ask about the use of XState with LLMs and things like that. And I know that that's popular right now. And also LangChain just came out with LangGraph, which is sort of similar, but I'm going to show you how we could use XState to do pretty much the same thing. So I'm going to bump up both the font size of the terminal and of this. So I think that that's big enough.
That's
right?
Fabulous.
Okay, awesome. So first we need to import a few things, and this is just an example. I'm not going to go over everything. Also, thanks, Honors, for adding cool little loading animations that you'll see here. So the idea is first you bring your own instance of just whatever model you're calling, whatever LLM. So in this case, OpenAI, you provide the API key over here. And then we create an agent. Now, this is where it sort of looks similar to XState, but it really provides a few more features. So you'll notice here we have context and events, just like XState, and the events we'll get to later. And the model over here is, the same that you would get if you were just passing in the model to OpenAI, and you provide the context not as TypeScript, but as JSON schema, which is going to be important for one of the examples that I'll show. So once you create an agent, and this agent, basically you're saying, hey, you are specialized in this domain of, this tic-tac-toe, or sorry, not tic-tac-toe, but jokes creator. And so the context, you would have jokes, which is, a bunch of jokes as a string, a desire, and a last rating. So the desire represents what it should do next. And then we could just create completions. So over here, we are just rating a joke on a scale of 1 to 10. I actually jumped the gun a little bit there. Here, it's just tell me a joke about topic. Now, notice that we strongly type topic as a string. We strongly type the joke as a string. So what this agent is going to do is it's going to take in the topic, create a joke, and then it's going to rate itself. So it's a multi-step process. This is sort of a hello world, but hopefully you get the idea. Now, get topic is just a plain from promise, where we're just listening to the console, or sorry, the terminal for information, where we would provide it a joke topic, which I'm going to demonstrate pretty soon. And then this is sort of some magic sauce. We have agent.fromEvents choice. All you do is you provided a prompt saying choose what to do next or something similar. You give it any part of the previous context. So in this case, we're just going to give it the last rating. We're not going to give it the joke. And so based on the transitions in the state machine, it's going to decide what it should do next. And it's going to output an event that the state machine can consume and transition to the next state. So let's actually take a look at the state machine. So the types, we have the types over here for context, input, etc. And then the actors, we pass in that logic into actors here, and that allows us to strongly type our machine. So our initial state is going to be waiting for a topic. And so in waiting for a topic, we are going to invoke the that get topic actor, and then we are going to save that as output, and that is strongly typed as a string. And then we navigate to the telling joke state. So in telling joke, we're going to input a couple things. First, we're going to get the joke completion, and so that's going to be the LLM creating that joke for us. And then it's going to transition to rates joke. We also have another invocation here for the loader. Honors, I refactored it a little bit so that it's an invoked actor. And then we rate the joke. And so when rating the joke, we pass in the context of the last joke told, which is this over here. By the way, fun fact, you could actually, in modern JavaScript, you could just do .at -1, but I don't have it set up for that. So just a fun little tidbit. And then we assign the the last rating from that event's output. And so this is your directly from the OpenAI response. So that's why we have to do choices, message, content. You can massage that however you want. And then we go to the decide. So in the decide state, we are going to, sorry, my mouse is being a little bit sluggish, but we are going to get the last rating and then decide what to do. Now, if you remember, we didn't actually tell it, here's the list of options that you could choose from. Instead, we just said, like, hey, you're going to choose an event to do, and it's actually reading the state machine to figure out what it should do next. So we pass it the last rating, and here's the possible events. We have ask for topic, and we give it a description. This is built into XState, by the way. We give it a description so that it figures out what to do. So if the last joke is rated 6 or lower, it's going to basically try to get another joke. And if the last joke was really good, rated 7 or higher, then we're going to end the jokes. So now, your typical XState, we create an actor, start it, and subscribe to it. Let's actually run this. So you could just run pm example and then joke. And so it's going to, I don't know, give me a joke topic.
Chocolate.
Chocolate. Okay, so chocolate. This is on this little thing. Why did the chocolate bar go to school? Because it wanted to be a smarty.
Perfect.
It's not very good. It didn't think it was very good either, so it's going to ask for another one. So a funnier chocolate joke. I have no idea. Why did the M&M go to school? Because it wanted to be a little bit smarter. It's still
That doesn't
terrible.
make sense.
No, it doesn't make sense at all. A joke that actually makes sense. I don't know. Why don't we tell secrets on the farm? Because the potatoes have eyes and the corns have ears. So it's a little bit funnier. You know, there's play on words. And because that joke was pretty funny, it actually ended the jokes. Like Farsad said, it's basically a dad joke agent, a pretty terrible dad joke agent. All right, so that was the hello world. But I wanted to show you just one more example over here. And this one, we actually modeled a game of tic-tac-toe. And so let me just unfold all to show you everything. So this tic-tac-toe game, the state machine is basically just how you would make any other state machine with XStates, but we were able to create an agent and inject it into parts of the machine. So what I did all the way up here is I have this spot actor, and this spot actor, let me go here. Wow, why can't I click into the definition? There we go. This is from events choice. So it's actually, again, going to read the state machine and figure out what move to do next. We give it the board, or sorry, we give it the entire game state, which includes the board, the moves made, and everything. And then we tell it to execute the single best next move to try to win the game. Again, we're not providing functions. We're not providing options to do anything. We're just saying, figure out what to do next. And it's going to use the state machine to figure that out. So in essence, this is actually going to play itself. So I'm going to run that. Tic-tac-toe. And you're going to see, hopefully it does well. All right, so X top left corner, O in the middle, good strategy. All right, then X in the top, so trying to go for that top row win. O does not block, so the agent, not really the smartest. Again, it's putting X on the corners. I don't know, maybe it's trying to go for a double win or something. O in the bottom right corner. All right, now it made 3 in a row. So the state machine will transition to the game ended state. And so you see it's actually streaming in content. And that's another helper from XState agent. From chat completion stream will actually make an observable actor, and it will, it will just stream that content out. And so it actually hallucinated a little bit and said it ended in a draw. So we could tweak that a little bit, but I just wanted to demonstrate all of those working together. So again, I wanted to show you that basically if we, so we're just invoking the bot and we're giving it, this is the only possible events that it could play. So it's actually good. It's like guardrails for the agent. It could only do this action. And because we gave it a description of what it should do, so we said the index of the cell to play on, we gave it a minimum and a maximum. It's always, or pretty much always, as well as we could do with OpenAI function calling, or tool calling it's now called, it's going to provide the correct events to send back to the machine.
Which model did you use for the tic-tac-toe?
I believe I use, this is why. Okay, so I used GPT 3.5, so that's why it was actually making terrible moves. I bet you if I used GPT 4, it would actually be a bit smarter about its moves. So good call.
Yeah, I think it didn't understand the rules of tic-tac-toe. I think it was treating it like battleships from what it described at the end.
Apparently.
Josh said, I think I'm learning 2 things from this stream. 1, stately agents are very cool. Finally justifying that AI domain. And 2, AI is still awful at most soft tasks. I'm just going to take issue with your first point there, Josh, because we already justified the .ai domain with the generating flows feature, which is really cool in the studio if you haven't tried it out yet.
Yep, that's true. And if you go to state.new, you could click generate with AI. But what I'm going to do here is I'm going to bring that tic-tac-toe game over here so that we could actually visualize it here. And again, once we have WebSockets working, we're actually going to be able to see this in real time, see the agent going between the different states and playing itself. So yeah, you see where we inject the bot over here. We're seeing it over here. And then when the game is over, the game reporter does its thing. So if you delete those invokes, then this just becomes a normal game of tic-tac-toe. So it really shows you how Stately Agent can be injected into your existing state machines. And again, this is open source. If you go to github.com/statelyAIagent, the documentation is in progress, but it is something that we're really excited about. Or at least I am.
No, absolutely. Fabulous. We did have a question earlier from El Hawkes or Hawkes. When will the V5 VS Code extension be upgraded? It's a question we get every week.
Yeah,
the team is hard working on it.
Yeah, in fact, as we speak, Matush and Farzad are working on that right now. We are upgrading it so that it works well with version 5. It's up to date with the current Stately Studio. And just making sure that everything works well. And we're also planning features on synchronizing with things like GitHub Sync, and so that you can integrate with your coding environments more naturally.
Fabulous. Does anyone have any more questions that they wanted to ask about Stately Agent before we move on? There's so much potential. So next up, how about we show you a little upcoming feature that Nick and Anders have both been working on, and that is embedding Figma, which is something I think, David and you and I talked about this way back at the beginning of Stately, so it's very exciting.
Yeah, so now I want to announce and demo our latest edition, and it's actually not even upcoming anymore. It's now secretly released, so you can go try it out at stately.ai. But so basically, yeah, this is you're now able to embed Figma frames in Stately states. And Anders and I have implemented this the past couple weeks, and it's working pretty great. It's a huge addition to the studio, I think. It really is one of the missing pieces for the team collaboration workflow. You could be working in Figma as a designer and make your sketches and then hook them up to actual code. So I'll go ahead and show that here. Share my screen. Okay, so imagine we're brainstorming this idea for a music player. And just for a simple example, let's say that we have like a ready idle state, and then you could look at some albums, and then you can open an album, and then you can see what the album looks like. And when you're ready, you can play it and show a state for playing the album. And so you could, you're brainstorming this, you say, here's some of the functionality we want. And then the designer goes off to Figma and mocks up these states. What could they look like? Well, did that. And so now we have, in Figma, we have a little mock-up for each of these states. So let's say we want to attach it to the Stately code. So what you do is in Figma.
Do you just show the Figma window? Sorry, Nick, I think we might just have your browser window open.
Yes. Let me restart that.
I think Cedric's getting excited. He said, what? The Figma plugin?
Okay. Yeah. Okay. So now you saw this, but now I've fixed the screen sharing setting. So let's say the designer goes off and mocks up some things. So now in Figma, we have a frame for each of the states. So we have something that's ready. Let's call this the ready state. Let's call this the viewing album state. And this one is the playing album state. Okay, so the way you get this into Stately and hook this image up to your code is you can right-click on the frame and select copy paste as and get a link. So you're getting a link to the frame. And then we go back over to Stately. We select the state we want to link the frame to, and just click, currently it's Embed Figma. And you'll get a little prompt here. It'll just tell you to input the URL. So I'm just going to paste that in and add the Figma asset. So now we have this Figma, an SVG export of this Figma in Stately. So if we add this for the other two, so let's get this frame, copy as a link, and let's paste it into this state here. And then just one more. We get the playing album one, copy as a link. And now in the future, there's plenty of ways we can improve this flow, but this is what we have for now. Works pretty well. Okay, so now we have Figma mockups for these 3 different states. And some of the things that you can do currently are you can, so I guess I could frame it like in Stately, a couple months ago, we added this feature called assets. And so you could add different kinds of assets to states. So like, for example, if I were to say, let's just take a screenshot. I could actually go like this, and I could drag it into a state, like that. And now if I go into the details, you can see there's actually 2 different assets attached to this. There's this screenshot I just took, and there's a Figma mockup. So the way we've done the Figma integration is Figma is just one asset type. And the way the assets work in Stately are you could be showing one asset at a time on the canvas. And we're currently about to release a feature so you could adjust on the canvas which one is shown, but currently you can do it from the details panel like this, just by dragging. And then the other thing that you can do currently, and this is the same of any image asset, is you could adjust kind of the size. If you want it small, medium, large, it might just depend on the asset that you have.
It's rendering as SVG, did you say, Nick?
It is, yes. So what that means is it'll scale pretty well, and it'll load almost instantly. And the downside, there is a downside currently. We'll see what we can do about it in the future. But some of the effects that you might be able to do in Figma, like background blurs, some kind of shadow effects, aren't supported in SVG. So it doesn't actually carry over to the embed. And for that case, you may need to actually add it as an image asset, which is fine. But you don't. What you don't get is, so currently, so one of the things that makes this feature so cool is that you actually get live updates from Figma. So whenever you load Stately, you'll see the latest version of this content. So if we just to quickly show this, so if we go over to Figma, let's say that, I don't know, we showed it around, we got some feedback, and whenever it's playing, we actually want to show the name of the song that's currently playing up top. And let's say, I don't know, we want to shorten this. I don't know. Move that, shorten that, and put the song up here. So we have this change. So this is updated in Figma. But now, if we go over to Stately, we can refresh. And when it loads, it'll automatically load what was previously loaded just to get an instant update. But then it's going to check. And after just a few seconds, it'll say, oh, we have a change here, or here, let's get the latest version. So now we've generated a new version of this image. And you can trust that you're seeing the latest thing from the designer. So that's pretty cool.
Brilliant. Game changer, I would say. Definitely, we're working with the designers. Having it up to date as well really keeps that idea of having a living documentation too, that you don't necessarily have to have it separately in a Figma file and in your state machine. Your state machine is updated from your Figma file. It is so cool. As Cedric says, this will really help to embed the designer / product guys.
Exactly, yeah. And it's just another, it's just a media asset on the state. So like you can still add entry actions and then see see the image next to all of this content. And in the future, we'll be able to make use of this in different ways. Maybe it's relevant for, who knows, maybe it's even relevant for the stately agent work. So like, is there...
In the future, you could even do clickable prototypes and things like that using this, because you'd be able to use simulate mode with your frames to click through as you might do with it.
Yeah, that's one of the things we'd love to do next, is to actually have like a quick rough prototype in Stately based on the actual logic of your app. Because that's kind of what's cool about this to me, is it's connected to your actual code. Like if you're using GitHub Sync, you're actually getting the latest logic from your code base. And then if you're linking states to Figma frames, you're actually seeing the latest design. So like you're actually like connecting Figma frames to the code itself. Like that's just super cool to me. I guess the only other thing I'd say, oh, sorry, yeah.
I was to say, Cedric was saying, when's this feature going to be released? Cedric, it's there already. It was released sneakily, quietly this week, so you can use it right now.
Yeah, and all you have to do, and this is a pro user feature, as assets are, but all you have to do is you select the state, and you click Add and Embed Figma, and then you'll paste in a link from the Figma frame. There is one bit of setup before that'll work. You have to get a token from Figma. That's easy. It's just in the settings, and then you'll have to add it in the stately settings. But
so that's a question that Joseph had for us, which was, do we need to authenticate with Figma to use those embed URLs? So that would be a yes then.
Yes. Yeah, and I believe that is under account settings Figma. Yeah, so you just get a token, and it's easy to find in Figma, but you just get a token and you paste it in here and update it, and then you're able to use Figma. That's all you have to do. There's nothing else.
And that is just like using GitHub Sync as well. It's a very similar process. You need to get the token from GitHub for that. Cedric says, oh yeah, I got it. I have tried right click. So you found it. Yeah, right click on your state to be able to find that as well. If anyone has any questions that they want to ask us about the Figma embed, just let us know in the comments. I'm just going to roll back to talking about Stately Agent for a second, because we had a couple of questions related to that. In fact, two that are the same. Josh asked, can I input my own models? And El Joquez asked, could we also use models from like Hugging Face with Stately Agent?
Yeah, so with the design of Stately Agent, basically you're passing in an OpenAI object, and then it's using that. So it doesn't depend on OpenAI specifically. It does depend on XState as part of its dependencies, but I do believe it's possible, and I have seen that you could basically use the OpenAI constructor and pass in a base URL that links to your own model. I believe that some models are compatible with that. And also, if you look at the source code, it's basically just wrapping XState V5. So we have from promise, from observable, and things like that. So it's actually not hard to make your own. And we could definitely provide other agents for other popular models, such as those from Mistral or Claude, or things like that.
Fabulous.
Yeah, I mean, if there's one of the models or one of the integrations you'd like us to work on first, it'd maybe be good just to go to the agent repo and open an issue or something, and we'd be happy to help integrate it.
You can also always go to feedback.stately.ai, which is another GitHub repo, and we've got all of our feature requests listed on there. If you add a request on there, then I'll make sure that it gets added to the right repo or is pointed in the right direction of the folks working on it. Now, Next up, we wanted to remind you, so I mentioned earlier that we recently released GitHub Sync and also Sources. Hope you've all had an opportunity to try those out now. Oh, as Ken's Code said, a lot of awesome changes here lately. So glad I found out about Stately. Thanks, Ken, or Ken's Code. And another exciting thing that we wanted to remind you about, because we only released it last week, so if you didn't check in with us last week, you might have missed it, and that is Stately Inspector. So David, have you got anything that you want to show us? Oh, there we go.
Yeah, so we ever since the announcement, we have cleaned it up a little bit, fixed a few bugs, and released a blog post. It is something we're continuously working on, but this blog post should show you, or it should demonstrate what Stately Inspector is and how to install it and how to use it within your own machines. And so just a reminder, it'll look something like this, and it will open in a new window currently. But we are working on other ways to show that, either in iframes or via WebSockets, and maybe eventually a Chrome extension. Yeah, so you have all the information here, including the types of diagrams it creates, state machine diagrams, and sequence diagrams too, which is something new for Stately, and also things that are coming soon. If you do want documentation, then you could just go to stately.ai/docs, look up inspector, and you should have all of the documentation there for using the inspector within your own apps. And I want to remind you that the 3 inspection events that are sent, which is actors, events, and snapshots, these could actually be called from anywhere. It does not require XState. So you could easily instrument your own app logic using whichever state management solution that you want. And you could just inject these calls in there. And so it basically becomes specialized observability for state management, which allows you to generate things like sequence diagrams and in the future, even state machines too. So I highly encourage you to check it out. Please let us know if you have any feature requests, and give it a try.
It is really cool. It's such an upgrade on the previous. If you have used the old Stately Viz to inspect your apps before, this is like a whole nother level, because you get all of the joy of the Stately editor. So all of those gorgeous visualizations as well. We have another question from Dianand, asks, any possibilities on GitLab or self-hosted GitLab integration?
It's definitely on the roadmap. We don't have any firm dates yet, but the more users asking for it, we'll kind of bump it up. So we'll give it a +1.
Yeah, so as I mentioned earlier, we've got feedback.stately.ai. There is a GitLab integration request on there already. So if you want to find that issue, if you just search for GitLab in those issues and give it a thumbs up emoji on there, we'll note that down as your upvote for the request. And if you subscribe to that issue, then we will notify you as soon as we're making any progress on that GitLab integration. So Joseph asks, does actor.subscribe provide the same details as the inspect feature? Good question.
Really good question. It does not. So actor.subscribe is, number 1, only for snapshots, and number 2, it's only for snapshots for the actor that you're subscribed to. So the powerful part about inspect is that it's going to provide snapshots, events, and actor creation events for every actor within that system. So it gives you a much more detailed view of everything that's going on. So in short, use actor.subscribe for normal usage within your own applications, and use inspect if you need to inspect the details of everything that's happening within the actor system.
Perfect. Team, did any of you have anything else that you wanted to share this week?
There's one more. I just want to go back to this question.
Oh, good catch. Thank you.
Yeah. Is it possible to, after importing code that uses .setup.createMachine, update in state charts, and when you export back to code, have setup be saved? So basically, this is asking about XState V5 compatibility in the studio. It is something that I am currently working on. We want to make the studio completely compatible with XState V5, including the new setup API. So that is going to be coming soon. I know we've had a few reports, especially with GitHub Sync, of the setup being dropped or something, it not being fully compatible. That will be fixed soon.
Great. Another question from Diane Land. Does the inspector work with React already?
Yeah, absolutely. So when you use machine or use actor in the second option, you just pass inspect into that options object, and it should work exactly the same.
And as Joseph said, they're using it with React already. So that's
Awesome.
great. You're not the only one.
Yep.
Another thing that I wanted to share with you all today is that we as a team are now offering some specific services around Stately and XState. So if you or your team want to get on board and need a helping hand, you can get a consultancy. So that focuses around your state management, using XState inside your team, how you might best use XState and what the best setup for you might be. We're also offering workshops for XState, custom solutions for your state machine logic, and any model-based testing that you might want to do as well, and also priority support. So if any of those things are things that interest you, you can go to stately.ai or stately.ai/pricing, and there's a little services section in there, and you can very easily contact us from there. Thank you, Magic URL Genie, for producing that. And another thing that we wanted to mention that we did talk about the other week was that, David, you're speaking at that conference. Yep, that is the name of it. It is called That Conference from the 29th of January. I'm just trying to find my URL for that.
Mm-hmm.
For that. That was an unintentional. Oh, there we go. thatconference.com/tx/2024. So I think that's the next opportunity that folks will have to see you speaking live, isn't it, David?
Yeah, and so this talk, I'm going to be doing a deep dive into the actor model. So if you want to hear what actors are, they're like state machines. They're not as scary as they sound. Then check out my talk. I'm sure it'll be recorded and published afterwards. But if you're in Texas, then I hope to see you there.
And we know it's tricky to sometimes make it to these events in person. And if you feel like you might have missed out on talks in the past, we do actually have a playlist on our YouTube channel. So if you're not on YouTube right now, that's the Stately AI channel. And that playlist is all of the talks that have been published to YouTube from the Stately team. So you can catch up on them, see how we've progressed over the years and how Stately and XState have progressed as well. I think there's quite some early ones on that too. So you can always catch up there, and we'll add them as they come up in the future too. So team, anything else that we wanted to add? Folks watching, if you have any more questions that you want to ask before we wrap it up for the week. It's been a very busy January. I think we got a lot out there already for 2024.
Mm-hmm. But nope, nothing from me.
Great. Well then, everyone, thank you so much for joining us. We really appreciate you being here, asking questions, just sharing your feedback live. It's really nice seeing you all here in the comments. Makes a big difference to us. So hopefully we will see you again in a couple of weeks. Goodbye.